What's up YouTube, Johnny here from Seven Wonders to show you my Fluffal deck profile. And the deck is really fun, not really that competitive, but I tried my best to make it competitive, and I'll show you what I got. So let's get started. So to start us off, I'm gonna start with a standard 3 Fluffal dog, 3 Fluffal sheep, and standard 2 Fluffal owls. I run 2 because 3 would be too cloggy, but 1 is just not enough. So I found 2 to be a perfect amount, honestly. And we don't run any of the Fluffal cats or rabbits because I feel as though it'd suck if you're top decking, because I know this deck uses a lot of its cards to go and pull off one play. And I feel as though if once you're top decking and you go into like a rabbit or a cat, it's just not good enough. And also 1 Fluffal bear. He's just here so you could go into your Fryfur bear, and also just so you could search for a toy vendor as well. That's why I run him. And anyways, so for Edgemps, we have 3 Edgemp chain and 2 Edgemp sabers. I feel as though 3 would be too cloggy and 1 is not enough, because you do use your Fryfur, whatchamacallit. You do use your Fryfur wolves and also your bears as well. So that's why I run 2. And also they could go and recycle themselves as well. So once you go and use them for your toy vendor or something, or whatever you do, then you know it'd be great. So that's why I run 2. And also the usual 1 Edgemp saw. So that's it for all of the Fluffal cards from the archetype. And these are my tech cards. 1 Tour Guide and also 2 King of the Swamps. Now the reason why I run King of the Swamp is because he could be ditched to search for a poly, and also he could be used for one of the cards for your fusion summons. Of course the other one has to be the exact one that it says on the card. But it's just great that you could go and use him, since you do use a lot of fusion monsters with specific Edgemp cards, you know, because I mean you have Saw, you have Sabers, and you also have Chain. So you know, King of the Swamp could go and substitute, and if you don't need him to substitute, well then you could just go and use him to search for poly, thin out your deck, you know. Anyway, so for magics, I run 3 toy vendors, 2 fusions, and 1 poly, plus 2 fusion substitutes. Reason being why I run 2 fusion substitutes is because not only can they be utilized for your toy vendor, just so you could go and ditch a card, but also you could go and use toy vendor when you have one of your fusion monsters in your graveyard, and then you could just toy vendor the fusion substitute if you don't need it, and then you know you could banish this and get some draw power. It's just the fact that this deck doesn't have that much draw power, which is why I chose to use 2 of them. And you could also recycle polymerization, not only with bear, but you could also use your fusion reserves, just so you could go and get it back and everything, you know, and then you could go and thin out your deck. But this is just for draw power mostly, and also the fact that you could go and use sheep. You know, you could go and have like one of your, let's say for example you have chain and dog in your hand. You could just go and summon dog. You could go and summon your dog, bring sheep to hand, and if you have like an Edgemp card, you could just go and like special bounce your dog, special this one, and then you already have 2, like the 2 cards you need on the field. Then you could just go and activate fusion substitute. You know, so it's not that hard to go and have your cards on the field. You know what I mean? And it's just the fact that it also has draw power, which is why I love it. Anyway, so you also run 3 MST, 2 Dark Hole. I would run like a Raigeki instead of 2 Dark Hole, but I honestly have my Raigeki in a different deck right now, so I didn't want to take it out of my other deck. So which is why I opted to use 2 Dark Holes. And 1 Book of Moon to stop your opponent's plays. And that's it for spells. Now for traps, we run 3 Punch in the Box. Now I'm sure you guys are all like, what the heck does this card do? Or you're just all like, oh, that card's garbage. But once you go and once it's explained to you, then you'll go and see it's good. Maybe you could go and bring it to 2 or 1. But honestly, I really love Punch in the Box because I've clutched with this card on numerous occasions. So let's say you have like your opponent has like, for example, I don't know, a 28 beater and also a 24 beater. or bigger or whatever. Anyways, why this card is so good is because when your opponent attacks and they have 2 or more monsters, you can just activate this card, target your opponent's monster, send one other monster they control, and then the monster that you targeted, not only is his attack negated, but also he loses equal, like the attack's negated and he loses attack equal to the defense or attack of the monster you sent to the graveyard. Keep in mind, this card isn't being destroyed, it states send. But anyway, it loses attack equal to the original attack or defense of this card, whichever one is larger. If it's a tie, you get to choose. But that's why I love this card, because not only does it weaken the monster, but it gets rid of another monster. Because Fluffals, they aren't the strongest archetype. They don't have a lot of muscle, which is great because this card weakens your opponent's monsters as well. Anyway, so 3 punch in the boxes, and 2 fusion reserves, and standard one bottomless, 1 compulse, and also a magical hat. This card is just for your toy vendors. This is why, because you could go and bring them from your deck, thins out your deck, and also you could get 2 searches, which is why I actually decided to use this card. I've seen other people do it and I was like, why not? I'll try it, and it was actually pretty good. So that wraps up the deck. I'll show you my extra deck. Keep in mind, my extra deck isn't exactly perfect. It's not complete, but these are cards that I decided to put in that basically just suited the archetype for the time being. You know, you guys could change it. Feel free if you want to. I don't mind. Anyways, 1 Chimera. I'd run 2 Leos, but I only have 1 at the moment. I can't find another one, but once I find another one, I'm just going to go and run 2 of him. 2 Fry for Sheeps. 2 bears. I'd definitely put this at 1, but once I find my other Leo, I'm gonna go and ditch the second bear. I just have it in here. I honestly don't know. Anyways, 2 bears. 3 wolves. Reason why I have 3 is because he's the easiest to go into, because Sabers could recycle himself, and also he uses any fright for monsters, so that's why he's just easy to access. And I also have a rank 6 in here, and yeah, I basically use him for the rank 6s and everything. He's just easy to go into, honestly. I run 1 Giga Brilliant. He powers up your monsters. Honestly, you can switch him out if you want. Like I said, this extra deck isn't complete. Anyways, 1 Zen Mains, 1 Alverditch. Reason being is because all Fluffal monsters are Earth attribute, and he weakens all non-Earth monsters by 500, which basically makes it to where your Fluffals could go and run over other monsters. For rank 6s, I have Frozen Lady of Justice, Gauntlet Launcher, and Swordbreaker. So yeah, like I said before, you guys could switch the extra deck if you want to, because honestly, this isn't the best extra deck, but I don't know, I'm still working on it. But these are like basically tech options that you guys could go and use. But yeah, that is my Fluffal deck profile. Please like, share, and subscribe to the video, and thanks for watching. Stay awesome.